Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of xah Talk Show. Today we are going to do today's topic is ontology of dot notation versus pipe versus function chaining. So this is a technical topic. This is related to programming language design stuff. Okay, so that is the topic for today, and let's get on. So close this window, keyboard block, close. Okay, that I need to block my keyboards. Tons of work. You see these gorgeous pictures. These pictures actually I collected quite a while ago, a year or two ago. So anyway, today's topic is dot notation, pipes, function chaining in programming languages. And today is 2020, January 2nd, Thursday, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Oh, I'm actually early. I'm 5 minutes early. So good morning, Justine. Good morning, Emily. And great to see you, Kathy. Kathy H. Kathy H. and Emily are in United Kingdoms. I hope one day I can meet you guys. I don't know how remote that chances are. And good morning, Justin. Justin is in British Columbia, Canada. What an interesting name. British Columbia, Canada. So in Vancouver. So today's topic, so let's do today's topic. But before we begin, let's digress. We love digressions, okay? So let's digress and let's do Emacs. Let's get this Emacs command to have Emily's color. So I'm going to start xah-command-log mod, okay, which is this command you are seeing right there. Okay, I'm gonna start a command MetaX xah-command-log mod. Okay, MetaX xah-start command log. Okay, you see now this window on the left, you can see all my Emacs commands. Whenever I move cursor or delete things or copy and paste things, all the commands on the left window. But however, I want it to be colored. You see, I wanted to set background color thistle. Thistle is Emily's color, so this color I want. Okay, and so let's do it. Instead of calling the command and fix it manually every time, let's do it. Make the command change the color. So let's restart Emacs. UK xah-gan meetup. Right? Are you guys going to have a meetup? Kathy and Emily and Vulcan. So if you have not already, these people in xah Discord, okay, join Discord, and let me send out the let's do it. Okay, xah Talk Show. Okay, go to the top, search for Discord, and there it is, the Discord ID, the invitation. You need a invitation to join in. So that's xah Discord, and let's stop this. We are doing prelude to today's talk show. Then we are going to get on to the topic about dot notation, the fantastic, the great topic of programming language design and all the issues you never seen, you never heard of from these hacker types. They tell you about Rust and Haskell every day. Rust, Haskell, Linux, BDSD, free BSD, you know. But they, and Emacs and Vim, but their vision, their perspective is limited. If I may say so, okay. You know, how do you widen your perspective? Well, the first thing you do is you eliminate any mainstream information. No pain, no gain. Any information that comes to you easily, you don't want that, okay? You want information, only you strive hard to dig to find it. Then your thoughts, your ideas will be fresh. Otherwise, your ideas, your thoughts, your opinions about programming languages, about operating systems, about politics is the same as your friends. You know, this is your neighborhood, whatever. It's the same. So here is a summary of the advice. You want, whenever there is information. You know, today we say our society is information overload, right? Too much information, we don't have time to digest. There are thousands of books your friends recommend to you about operating systems, about Haskell, about programming languages, about mathematics. You know, you don't have time. You know all the great books and Wikipedia. You can read Wikipedia all day, every day. So much information, but you don't have time to digest it. Even though many of these information are great. You know, for example, your friends will tell you about great books in math or programming, but you don't have time. Anyway, my point is, so information overload, especially the current events like politics, Twitter, you know, every day this bullshit news, every day mainstream fake news. So information and on social networks, on Discord, on Twitter, you know, you get information from your friends. Information overload. So okay, I'm digressing, but what I'm saying is that you want here's a summary, here's the gist. Okay, any information that comes to you easily without you spending effort, without you having pen to get it, those information you should try to ignore it, like almost like completely. Like that's what I do actually. That's what I've been doing for 20 years. So I have weird opinions. Okay, so whether it's good or not, it's up to you to decide. But the one thing for sure is my opinion are usually a bit weird. Okay, and many of you too, many of you guys. So my what I want to say is that any information. Here's the thing: any information, may it be programming technical stuff you learn, mathematics, or may it be news or political opinions or geography or history, whatever. Any information that comes to you easily, such that you didn't spend much effort to gain it, such as on Twitter, on social networks. Oh, news article. Someone posted, oh, this is a great news article. Oh, news article on Hacker News, fucking 1,000 thumbs ups. You know, those information, they come to you easily. You didn't spend days or 1 hour or even 10 minutes to actually learn something. You just read it, on Hacker News. Every fucking hacker types go to Hacker News. You read it. Oh, all the different, great things. So, Google is doing something. Oh, they have a new AI library. Whatever. Fuck. So those are information. You get. Almost everyone, most of us, unless you are very, most of us, you get those information every day. They come to you easily. So ignore them. Why? Because they came to you easily. You didn't have pain. You didn't suffer to get it. Okay. So what you want is information that like the bodybuilders, bodybuilding. So we have a member who is Reaper. I think he's into bodybuilding. He do bodybuilding. Although I don't know what he do exactly, but he seems he's into bodybuilding. When I was younger, I read a lot about bodybuilding because I was kind of like a street performer, juggler. I want to be one of my goal is to be the greatest juggler. It's kind of funny. But anyway, so bodybuilding, in bodybuilding, they have a saying, no pain, no gain. Okay, so if you didn't, like you do push-ups, the 20 push-up, you cannot not do it, but you have to do it. Then you gain, then your muscle grow, because that's actually physiology. That's true. If you do weights and you don't your muscles don't get to the point of some sort of pain, then your muscle doesn't grow, you know, because it's already used to it. So anyway, no pain, no gain. That's the saying. So it's the same thing with information. In my kind of dramatic way of saying it, okay, you know, I might be exaggerating a bit, but that is the thing. So any information that comes to you without you go through a lot to get it, that's no good. Tends to be no good. Okay, so ignore them. So what do you mean by that? So what do I mean by that? For example, you want to you know okay, anyway, I'm digressing about that, but I should give an example though. For example, anyway, I'm digressing. So let's get back to Emacs then. So good morning, Matt, hola, and good morning, Crash Hacker from Japan. Great to see you. And Matt is in Central America. What country was that? Central America. Great. So okay, so let's start the command. Let's start modify Emacs first. Okay, so let's call the command. Okay, xah-start-command-log mod. You see the name at the mini buffer at the bottom. So now I press Control H F. That shows me the describe function, the function's documentation of this command. So it says xah-start-command-log is an interactive disclosure in that file. Okay. So by the way, so you can do this too. Okay. Normally you call describe function, describe function. Okay. Normally that's what you do. You call description function and you type the function name, xah-start-command-log mod. That's how you get to the. That's how you get this inline documentation for the function. Describe function. That's a command name. But another way to do it is that if you have smex installed, okay. Let's see, where are we? How are we? Okay, so actually this is not the page we want. Let's go to today's talk show page. Okay, so if you have smex installed, let me show you what's a smex. SMEX. So that's what I'm using. It's a enhanced version of MetaX. Okay. Okay, I'm starting to talk about the basics of Emacs. So anyway, MetaX, the full name for MetaX is, let me tell you how to find it. So if you know a key and you want to know what is a command bound to that key, what you do is you call describe key. Okay, so let's do it. Describe key. You see that command, describe key, MetaX describe key. So I press it, enter. Now it asks me to type a key. So now I type MetaX. Okay, you see? So now this window pops up. And this window, so it says MX runs the command execute extended command. There it is. Let me repeat. So if you know a key and you want to know what is a function bound to the key, the way you do it is you call MX describe key, then type the key. Then Emacs will tell you. So we have found that, you know, this command is, so MX, the key MX is, the command is execute extended command. And I was saying, what about smex? Smex is a package that is enhanced version of execute extended command, which is what I use. And why am I mentioning smex? Because smex allows you to, okay, I'm getting a bit complex, more advanced. Okay, smex allows you to, for example, I call smex and I type start xah-start-command-log mod. So I'm about to hit enter to run that command. But before I run the command, I want to know, oh, I forgot what it does. So at this point, you can press Control H F. Then it will it will show the inline doc. So it's kind of a shortcut to describe function. Okay, do I make sense? I think this is a bit complicated, advanced. You know, the thing is, when you are do a talk show, most people, they just want, you know, they are in tune for only the basic stuff. Because, you know, of course, many of you guys know what I'm doing, but you narrow your audiences significantly. Like most of them, they don't know. Like, you know, that's a typical way things are. Most people are beginners in everything, including us. You know, because when we are doing programming, we are advanced or Emacs. But vast majority of other things in life we know nothing about, such as business, how to run a business, law, restaurant industry, we know nothing about. You know, there are 1 million things in the world, and we know one of them, that is programming. The rest 990,000 things we don't know. So in the same way, in general, on YouTube, you know, most people are always beginners, including us. So anyway, let's get back to modify this command. Okay, xah-start-command-log mod. So I'm going to call describe function on it. Okay, and it shows me the, you see the inline doc, and I want to jump to the file. So here is the code. And I want to modify it. So all I want to do is to add a color to the background. So what I do is, let's see where. Okay. Okay, at the end. So in here, set background color. Okay. What is the command? Set background color. Okay, actually we are digressing a lot, but we're going to begin soon. So set background color, and I want thistle. So thi, okay, I forgot what's the name. So let's open a new buffer, set background color thistle. So there it is. So type that here, and done. Okay, and now I run the command. Now it's evaluated. Now I close this window. Now I move to this. Let me show you. Okay, let me show you here so you can see. So now I call xah-start-command-log mod. Enter. Fantastic, it's working. You see, it's working. So now I run any command. You can see it shows on the left. Actually, there's one more thing I want to do, because the other thing I want to do is I want to make it narrow like that, so we can add it to the command. Should we do that? Nobody is saying anything. Guys, comment. So actually, let's begin today's topic. The ontology of dot notation, UNIX pipe, and function chaining. Okay, so this is programming language design related issue. So before we begin on that, let me just finish this command. Change today's date, version number. Okay, and save it and close. Okay, now let's talk about dot notation. Thistles are everyone's favorite food. Is it so? What is thistles anyway? I don't even know what it thistles. I thought it's a plant, like thorny plant. Thistle. So there it is. Let's call the command and look up web search thistle. So thistle is the common name of a group of flowering plants characterized by leaves with sharp prickles on the margins. Indeed. Oh, that looks like that. Okay. Okay. Okay, thistles. Everyone is a donkey from the Winnie Pooh. Oh. I don't know what does that reference to. I mean, well, I know it's Winnie Pooh. It's a cartoon, but I haven't watched it. So let's talk about today's thing. Okay, so let me show you today's OOP notation. Okay, let me tell you about the OOP notation. So we're gonna talk about this for 30 minutes or something. And who is this? Kathy. Oh my God, Kathy. London Emacs hacking, guys. London Emacs hacking meetup. Oh God, you guys. Okay, you guys gonna go? Yes, indeed. London, guys. Okay, so there it is. A meetup. Okay, so let me post that. YouTube is censoring us. Okay, so only I can post links, something like that. So that's London Emacs meetup. So great thing. So you guys, you guys in UK can meet up. So okay, let me talk about dot notation. So let's begin. And we're gonna talk about this the JavaScript Ruby. They are all, it's dot notation is a very popular notation in mostly object-oriented languages. Okay, so first of all, so I have several articles about that, about the ontology. And by the way, do you know what I mean by ontology? Because ontology is, well, I did a video on that. Let's not go into, but okay, let's just go one by one about them. Dot notation, dot before, dot OOP dot notation, dot before data or after. Okay, let me tell you about that. So normally, so let's see Python. Okay, let's do a Python example. So Python, okay, hold on a second. So Python, you have, I haven't coded Python for years. So xx, okay, so I need to magnify. Xx equals to something, okay? And then let's say ss dot split, okay, split, okay, split on space. You see? So now let's print yy, okay? Let's run it. There it is. Here's the output. Okay, so it splits a string into two parts, into a array, list. Okay, so you can see here is a dot notation. Now the ss is a string. It's a meat. It's a primary. It's a data we want to work on. So you have data, then dot, then a split method, which is a function. So in this example, the important thing is the data. So it's in front. It's a before the dot. But however, that's not always the case. There are quite a few complications in this dot notation, OOP dot notation. This notation is used in Java, in JavaScript, in Java, JavaScript, in Python. Okay, it's one fuck up. Okay, the OO object-oriented programming is one fuck up throughout, inside out. And today we are going to show, let me tell you my opinions about one of the fuck up. Major. Okay. So in this example, you have a dot notation. That's what it is. And the data comes before the dot. You see, usually, so this is SS. This part is in JavaScript, in Python, it's an object. In Ruby, it's an object. JavaScript, Python, Ruby, it's an object. Okay. In Java, yeah, it's also an object in Java. So object, which is the data, then dot and method. you apply the method on the data. That's how it's supposed to mean, the dot notation. OOP, object-oriented programming. Now, but it's not always the case that the data comes before the dot. For example, let me show you this Python. Okay, I haven't coded Python, so I need to get into I need to copy and paste code. Okay, so hold on a second. Let's put that here. Okay, so we have a Python example. Now let's show another example here. Okay, I'm gonna show you another example. This is Python regular expressions. Okay, so here we have a Python regular expression. Let's now let me show you. Okay, so I'm not going to go into programming details. I'm just going to talk about the dot notation. So here you see, okay, so here you have a string. So this code is a regular expression matching email address. Okay, so actually so here is a string, and you want to get the email address in that string. So what you do is you have this regular expression, this import re. That's RE is a regular expression package. Okay, so you call re. You see, re. That is the module name. The regular expression module. Then you dot search. Okay, then you dot search. That's a function. Then you give an option. So the first argument is a regular expression here. That pattern matches the email address in general. Then the text is a string. So you want to match this string by this regular expression, and the way you do it, you read dot search. But you see that dot notation in this example, that re is not data, right? That re is a package name. In other words, it serves as a namespace. It's not data. Okay. So typically in OOP you think, like data dot methods. But here it's different. It's inconsistent. You have a package name dot, then method, then inside the parentheses you have whatever you want to do, your text, your data, or so here is the example that's showing that it is inconsistent. Okay. So that's what I want to show. So we have the inconsistency here. Now let me show you. Let's talk about. Okay, so I have showed example in Python where the data come before the dot, and in other example comes after the dot. Now this happens in JavaScript as well. You have many examples. And it happens in Java. In fact, this happens in general in I think almost all OOP languages. It happens in Python, in JavaScript, in Java. Okay, how does it happen in Java? For example, one of the most common example is math dot something. So let me show you JavaScript math methods. Okay, so here is the JavaScript. You have all these math methods. So you have math dot function name, then parentheses, whatever. So all these methods, you see the thing that comes before the dot is not a object. Okay, even in JavaScript, it's not, even technically it's not an object. It's just, because I've read the JavaScript spec, it's not even an object. It's it's just, the purpose of that is just a namespace. Okay, so that's some of the examples. Okay, that's the main thing I want to say about that dot notation. So you can see, so the point here is that sometimes the data comes before the dot, sometimes after. Okay, so maybe I should go faster. Am I getting boring? Like sometimes I'm kind of slow and repetitive. 10 viewers, Okay, 30 minutes. Okay, let's go faster. So that's one example. Okay, now let me show you another example. Not.js. If you don't know, not.js is a JavaScript engine you can run in your terminal. For example, I can start not. Okay, for example, not. So you see, so now I can start to type JavaScript. 3 plus 2. Okay, let's do an array. Okay, 2, 3, 4. So we have an array. So let's do some more. So x equals to, okay, so now x is an array, and let's get the first element, index 0, 2. So you see, so Node.js is basically a JavaScript engine. So you can install, so you can run JavaScript without running it inside the browser. That's what I do. So Node.js. So Node.js, in Node.js, you of course you also have this dot notation, but it turns out in Node.js the dot, every dot, it's used when you have a x dot y, the x part is always just a namespace. It's never a a data or object. It's just a namespace. For example, here's a typical example code in Node.js. Okay, you have require something, you assign it to a name, then you call then you call p dot something. That p is just a namespace. So the point of this article is just showing you that this dot notation, the semantics of the dot notation differs. Okay, sometimes it's a data, sometimes it's a namespace. Okay, so that's about this. You see, right now it's very simple. But it's going to get complex. Because this is about, when you, okay. Why are we talking about this? Because as a programmer, you will see every day programmers talk about programming issues. Like they complain, oh, I like chaining functions. Oh, I don't like function chain. Oh, I like dot notation. No, I don't like dot notation. So programmers argue. So everyone has opinions, but I do too. So but I think one of the good things you want to do is you want to dive into details, because you see it can get this seemingly it's a fun topic. This is talked often about dot notation, about function chaining, because it's a dramatic issue about programming style. Some programmers they like function chaining, like typically in JavaScript, Python, Ruby, you have something dot something dot something, dot 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 dot. People think, oh, this is so great, but some people don't like it because they think, some people don't like it because why people talk about this often, programmers, because this is eventually it's a programming style. Programmers love talking about programming style because it's the most fundamental, basic, brainless thing everyone can talk about. It's like the bike shade problem. What color should the bike shade be? Meanwhile, the difficult problems nobody understands, so nobody has opinions on that. But the basic, most useless issues, everyone has an opinion. Like programming style stuff, programming idioms, and programming style, and especially the dot notation. That's why a lot of people talk about it. But what I want to say is that there are for issues like this, you can dive deeper. Okay, dive deeper, then you'll find. So what will you find? You see, this will relate depending on how philosophical or how deep you want to go. It relates to programming language syntax design, human cognition system, neuroscience. There's a big branch of science about human cognization functions. How do we perceive? How do we understand things? Which way we can understand the fastest? Which way is the fastest to learn? There are big research about that. It's a subfield of It's a so-called multidiscipline field: psychology, neuroscience, educational science, or whatever you might call it. Or experimental. Or you do statistics, research, survey. For example, camel case versus snake case. Which one is better? There are a few articles about that. Research papers. So people measured your eye movements. To see whether camel case or snake case is which one is actually easier to read. Things like that. My roommate just left, I think. So what does this pertain to? So it pertains to syntax, language design, human cognition systems. How we perceive, how we and the history of math notations, and also how notations influence thought. So it can get into linguistics, deep linguistics, how writing systems influence your thought. For example, we know programming languages different, Lisp with lots of parentheses or versus Java. You look at the program, you have different ways of solving problems. And in fact, it has to do with syntax. Okay, syntax has a lot to do with it. So how does syntax influence your the way you look at problems? It's related. Okay, it's not. Syntax does not dictate how you think, but however, it does influence how you look at problems. You know this if you have studied the history of mathematics, how notation, the math notations, they have driven the future path of mathematics, especially matrix, the matrix notation. They have driven, in some cases, they have created a complete new branch of vibrant, verdant mathematics. Okay, so notation. So that's what I'm saying. You want to dive deeper. That's why that's my interest. Okay, let's just say that is I happen to be interested. So I have quite a few articles on this dot notation versus pipe notation thing. Now I'm gonna talk about pipe notation in a bit, but this is why I think this is why I find this interesting. This is not your common Python style guide. Fucking idiots. The Ruby style guide. There are some Emacs people I know who like to, post, oh, this is the Emacs community agreed upon style guide. Everyone should follow. The fuckheads. These people, Ruby Python style guide, Ruby style guide, Emacs Lisp style guide. Fuck them. You read them. They don't have depth. Okay, that's my rant. Okay, so let me talk about that. Okay, so let's talk about the next thing. Pipe notation. Okay. Hey, Justin Scoffy. So let's see. What is the difference between camel case and snake case? Oh, that's easy. So camel case is like this. Okay. Let me get it to it. Okay, so hold on a second. So camel case, okay, equals to 3. Okay, and the snake case is like that. You see? So that's a camel case versus snake case. In fact, I have an article on that. I have read all articles there exist about camel case versus snake case because this is one of my obsession. So I have an article on this written in 2015, and basically I've read quite a few articles about all research papers or blogs, other programmers blogs about camel case versus snake case, and a bunch of style guides, from different languages. So that's about camel case versus snake case. Okay, let me post it to today's talk show. Okay, so just code, and okay, there we have it. That's today's talk show topics: camel case versus snake case. So next thing, let's talk about UNIX pipe notation. The fucking UNIX pipe notation. The UNIX drivels. Let me tell you what is a pipe notation. Okay, so the best thing to do is by example. So do I have anything sensitive here? No. Okay, so let's do ls. So you see, this is a typical UNIX command that shows my directory. So ls dash al, incomprehensible fuck. Okay, so now I have listed all my directories. A means show all, and L means long form. Okay, so this is ls-al. And now let's say I want to find all my file name or directories that contains the word Google. Let's just say, okay, so -al pipe, okay, vertical bar, and grep Google. Okay, empty, because I need to capitalize Google. Okay, G. Okay, so you see, so now I have shown all the files that contains the word Google by using grep. That's UNIX command. So let's do another one. Let's see. Actually, let's go to my Emacs directory. So cd web ergo Emacs, okay, and L, and do ls-al. Okay, so that's my Emacs directory. Actually, cd to Emacs, okay, and do a L. So we got a whole bunch of stuff. So you got like thousands of files, 700 files. So let's do ls, okay, ls-al pipe to, I want to know how many files are there. So pipe to count, wc. Wc is word count, okay. So it says I have 895 files. Okay, 895 files. But the important thing here is that I'm using the vertical line that stands for pipe. It shows, I'm showing you some examples. So I want to let's do it again. So I want to grab all files that contains the word Emacs. Okay, so ls-al pipe grab Emacs. There it is, a lot of files again. And I want to know how many are there. So I pipe again wc. You see, now it says I have 401 files containing whose file name contains the word Emacs. Okay, but anyway, that is an example of pipe. You see this ls-al thing. So that's pipe. Pipe, that's a very common Unix command line syntax. And this pipe syntax, you can think of it as a postfix notation. In other words, it's similar to the dot notation. That's why we are talking about it. You see, for many programmers, dot notation is convenient, because it's like function chaining. That's a proper word. Function chain. You make a chain of functions. You have data, pass it to this function, pass it to that function, then pass, then you get a result. In a similar way, that's UNIX pipe. Now the proper word is, you call it post. So it's a postfix notation, because the function name comes after the argument. You see, you have data, then the function name, then function name. Function comes after the meat, the data. So that's UNIX pipe, okay. And in fact, the Alfred Aho, Alfred Aho guy, he designed awk. Awk is one of the important tool in UNIX 30 years ago. So Alfred Aho, he's also the author of this book, compiler book. This book Emily has. So he did an interview, and people are asking him, what do you think, when you designed pipe, were you thinking about functional programming? You see, this is all related, guys. It's important. So those of you chanting Haskell, Monad, this is all related. Get information not from those places that easily come to you, but you from only value information that you actually dig and to find it. Those are valuable information. So here I'm showing the relation about functional programming, about dot notation, about UNIX pipe. They are all related. And this is about, it's related to, like I mentioned before, language function design, syntax. Then pretty soon it becomes formal languages. Formal languages are huge. The fundamental, actually the most important branch of theoretical computer science. Formal languages. Okay, look it up on Wikipedia. Formal languages. That formal languages is all about syntax, nothing else. Syntax alone. So anyway, so this guy, Alfred Aho, he's saying, when he created awk and the UNIX pipe, he's talking about the UNIX pipe syntax. Actually, that idea came from functional programming. Functional programming, where does that idea come from? It came from mathematics. He is saying that UNIX pipe came from math, okay, not monad, fuck. The UNIX pipe, when he designed it, when his friend, when he designed it, the UNIX pipe came from function in mathematics, okay. That is what this article is about, okay, function. But however, the Unix fuckheads, the Unix philosophy, the Unix idiots, chanting about Linux today, Linux, and before it's Unix, they chant. They don't know nothing about it. You see, they are just following fads. They are just getting their information from Hacker News, from /dot. That's before Hacker News. They don't have a brain. They don't think. So when these people, when the Unix, these fuckheads, when they talk about pipe, they don't know about this history. Okay, they don't know anything about math. Although they idolize math, but they know nothing about math. But every day they are just chanting about Unix or shell or bash. This or that. But when they talk about pipe, it's a code, okay. It's like, pipe, Unix pipe is a great thing, but they never know a thing. And in fact, the pipe, as we know it in Unix system, is one of the most fucked up fuck in the universe, okay, in programming, Unix pipe. So in this article, I'm explaining it, a bit. Why is it fucked up? Let me show you, okay. Some examples. For example, ls, so we did ls-al, right? Actually, hold on a second. Let me do a screenshot of this window so that puts a screenshot, and I can go here. You see, this is today's talk show page, and I go here, and I make a screenshot. Hold on. Let me show you the command. Okay, so I press two keys and say OK, and say OK. So let's see, what is this? There it is. You see, show in browser. We have a screenshot. I don't even have to go to desktop. Okay, so those of you Emacs users, you might look into what I did. All these commands on my website. So there it is, a screenshot. Okay, so Anyway, so we did. So when you see, so let me explain the pipe. Okay, why the Unix pipe is one fucking fuck or fucked up fuck, and that is my hatred of Unix. Contrary to most of you heard. I know most of you love Linux and open source. But anyway. So ls-al. That means show all and long form. But the -al is actually a shortcut. So the alternative is -a-l. Okay, you see there. So let's enter. You see, let's do it again. -a-ls-a-l. They are equivalent because the syntax is such that when typically a dash is an option, but when you have multiple of them, you can usually combine them. So you, instead of -a-l, you can just say -al. You can combine the options. Usually, that's a key. That's a problem. Not always. It's a entirely inconsistent fuck. Why? Because, for example, -al. So what do you mean usually? So let me show you an example where you cannot just combine the option names. So I have example. I have quite a lot, 1,000 examples here. Okay, there it is, Perl version. Okay, let me show you. Okay, let me show you this Emacs. Okay, let's show Perl dash version. You see that? Perl dash version. And in fact, let's do Ruby dash version. Can we do that? Ruby dash version. There it is. Let's say Python dash version. There it is. You see, dash version. Wait, look. There it is, the problem. Python dash version. Unknown option dash E. You see, so what is the problem? You guys know what's the problem I'm getting into, right? Or am I too slow? You see, normally the dash is supposed to be a combination of options, but not always. It depends. It depends on each and every program. So here, for some of them, the dash version works. Okay, works in Perl, works in Ruby, but not Python, because Python. The problem is when some command they dash several letters. That's one option. That's not combination. That's a problem. So it's inconsistent. The syntax is ad hoc. It's case by case basis. That means every time you call any Unix command, you have to know what that command specifically do. The syntax. So for every command, you have to learn a new syntax. That's what it is. It's a fucked up system. And this is just one of the example. One of the problems. There's a lot more. Okay, so let me show you. Okay, so let's do Python again. Let me show you the proper way to call the Python one. For some reason my shell is stuck. Okay, so I don't know why my shell is stuck. My shell is stuck for some reason. This happened to me recently. I'm trying to close it now. Okay, there it is. So Python -- version. There it is. That works. Okay, the -- is another thing. The -- is created by Free Software Foundation, by the GNU project, because they think they can improve it, but it end up more complexity. So anyway, so this article is a bit long. There are quite a lot more, and the most interesting thing is the PS. Okay, let me show you another example. PS AUWWX. You see, this command shows all your processes. Again, it's PS space AUWWX. Notice that there is no dash. So my point here is that the syntax is not consistent. Basically in practice, okay, this is not in theory. In practice, every Unix command, when you call them, you have to learn its specific syntax. Okay, so you have few thousand Unix commands. Every one they have slightly different syntax. It's one fuck up. Okay, that's a Unix philosophy. I mean, that's what Unix philosophy is. You know, the Unix philosophy, they tell you, oh, small is beautiful. Oh, each program in Unix is so small and they do it perfect. You know, they do one thing well. Well, my ass. Okay, I haven't get into why is that yet. Okay, but this article I discuss those issues. The bottom line is that it's just inconsistent. It's one fucked up fuck. That's your Unix philosophy. You probably don't know because all you know is that it's beautiful. It's Unix programs. Small is beautiful. Unix is just beautiful. Period. In fact it's the most ugly fuck possible. Okay, that's about that Unix pipe. Okay, so yeah, so well we two things here. One thing is about Unix pipe. Then the other thing is about the Unix pipe as functional programming. The Unix options, it's inconsistent. Okay, that's about that article. Then we're gonna talk about method chaining. Okay, it's starting to get more complex. Actually, how long have I been talking? 56 minutes. Okay, so Newton versus Leibniz. Okay, that's a great topic. Nabi says, GNU sounds like a joke. It's a punchline, but if you are seriously asking this camel case and snake case, thanks. Okay, so AA says C plus S, C plus Q. I haven't run into, I haven't run into those syntaxes. The Unix shell syntax, they did change in the past 30 years, and there is no one consistent or vision. There's no one way. They change it just randomly because that's how Linux today. Linux, since year 2000 Linux took over, and in the past 20 years Linux has their own direction of change in the command line syntax. For example, today a new generation, let me show you. Okay, so a new generation today, you have Git. Okay, let me show you. Git is one of the exemplary of the syntax changes, the command line syntax changes that happened in the Linux world in the past 20 years. This began about 2007. Many Unix commands, they have now this syntax. Let me show you. So git help. Okay, you see, it works. We can do this in terminal as well. You see, git help. You see, the interesting thing to note here is that git help, like what the fuck? Normally by the traditional Unix way, you don't do command like that. You must have dash. Like you should be git dash dash help. That's a GNU way, or git dash h. Okay, that's a tradition. Okay, that's a Unix tradition. Beginning about 2007 also. Okay, it changed. There became a lot of programs that started to have this new kind of syntax. That is git, like a command name, then a sub command name, then options. Okay, this is new. Okay, I'm telling you guys, this is kind of new. In fact, I have an article on that too. somewhere. Somewhere. Let's see if I can find it. Um, because I'm observing. I study these kind of things. I'm obsessed. And I study and then I blog about it. So xah Unix command line syntax. Let's see if I can find the article. Um, that article is buried somewhere. Evolution. Okay, command line syntax evolution. Yeah. Anyway, that's not an important article. I mean, it's just that the starting around 2007, you started to have commands that takes this form. And for example, in Ruby, okay, let me show you Ruby. Okay, so for example, in Ruby, so you go to xah Ruby website, then you can find. Let me show you. Okay, so for example, I think it's Ruby is one of the primary reason that started to have this change in Unix command line interface. I think Ruby is one of the primary cause. Okay, so in Ruby, if you are a Ruby community programmer, Ruby has this bunch of tools. IRB is Ruby interactive, Ruby. So you have RI, which is Ruby stock reader. Okay, it's like a man page. So then you have Ruby gem. Gem is to install, package manager Ruby gem. Then you have rake. Rake is similar to make. Okay, Ruby's version of make. So you have a bunch of these Ruby command line tools, and usually they are written. They are written in Ruby, and I think they didn't follow the Unix tradition way exactly for some reason. It may not be a intentional change. It just happens. It just happened. So you see, for example, you have this Ruby bundle, Ruby bundler. Okay, that's a command in Ruby. So the way you run it is bundle, then command, then options, then argument. Just like the git help thing, the git something, git commit, git add, git, just like git. So you have all these bunch of Ruby commands that takes this new form. So that's what I'm saying. So Ruby, I think, and I'm not sure Ruby began it or was it Python. I don't know. But anyway, that's some example. Okay. So let me post that. So we have today's talk show topics. Ruby. Okay. So next thing. So yeah. So that's about the evolutions of Unix shell commands. Next thing, method chaining, postfix operator, and OOP. Okay, so actually, those three, four, five more topics. That's gonna take another hour. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Oh, we got 14 people watching. Oh God. Okay, my energy drink is gone. And do I have more energy drink? I don't think so. Sad. And now we drink tea, I guess. Tea. so, so AA says, AA has a counter argument. You said you are going to demonstrate that pipes are not good. Then you jumped to arguments which are mere data, so any program handles them as as it wants. Therefore, you stress nothing here. The only convention is having arg exposed to programs through lib-start main to main if you are using libc. No, I haven't begun yet. Okay, those are just what I've talked so far are just prelude. We have not started to talk about the kind of well, there's a lot more. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna talk about is about method chaining, postfix operator, and object-oriented programming. So there's a lot I want to say. Are you guys bored? So okay, so I should continue, I guess. I need to. Okay, so this video is getting long, so I have to think about what am I gonna do. Okay, let me push on. Okay, push on for maybe 20 minutes. Let's see where we are. We're gonna try to finish this topic in one video. So method chaining, postfix operators, and OOP. Okay. Let me. This is written 4 years ago, so let me remind myself what I'm talking about. Okay, so let me tell you what this article is about. Let's go to now. Let's use a JavaScript example. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, so open a new one and magnify and JavaScript, and let's do a JavaScript. Let's say SS. Okay, constant x. Okay, so s is a string. Okay, let's say sum. Okay, so we got a string, and what we want to do, let's do a split just like Python. Okay, xx split. Okay, separator sum thing. Okay, split into a array, so split by a space, and that's it. Okay, so constant yy equals to that. Okay, so this is JavaScript. Now we need to print it yy. Okay, run it. There is a result. Okay, this is JavaScript. Now, in order for this to work, let me think about. You see the dot notation. The dot notation is convenient in the sense that it is like UNIX pipes or function chaining or postfix notation. Why is it convenient? Because you just have dot something, so it like forms a sequence, like a flow of the data, like pipes, water pipes. So dot notation in object-oriented programming is, many people like it because it's like function chaining or piping or postfix notation. These are different ways to describe it. It's a stream. But let me show you some examples about how like more than one dot. Let's see if I have some examples. So what are some examples of dots? Okay, so I mean, I want a sequence of dots. We need to come up with an example quickly, a sequence of dots. So split into a string, then okay, trim. Okay, so let's do trim. Do I have trim? Yes, we do. So split. Okay, let's do this. Okay. So we begin with a string with a space before and after with a comma there. Then we try to split by a comma. Then we try to trim it, remove the empty spaces. So let's run it. Okay, I got a problem. Trim is not there. Okay, let's go to JavaScript tutorial, my JavaScript tutorial in depth. Now, if you guys like my stuff, buy my stuff, okay? Buy my stuff. I have a link at the bottom where you can buy my JavaScript. I have a link somewhere here. Oh, where is my buy JavaScript link? Shit. I need to promote myself. Okay, there is my Patreon. Okay, and buy JavaScript tutorial. I have the best JavaScript tutorial, so you can support me. Just make a token, a gesture of appreciation. If you like my stuff, buy it. Okay. So anyway, so what I want to do, so we need to look at JavaScript reference string prototype. We want a function that various function trim. Okay, so there is a trim. So why is it not working here? So trim returns a new string. Wait, this page is bad because I failed to say when is this function added. I think this function is in JavaScript ES 2000 yeah. Oh yeah, JavaScript ES 2019. So it's not in JS yet. Maybe. Okay, so trim start. Let's see if we can have that. Trim start. It's not in JavaScript. I mean, it's not in the Node.js version I'm in. So, for example, Node dash version, bad option version. You see this annoying fuck. You see, this is a practical. So we talked about the UNIX syntax inconsistency. It's not just in theory. It's practical because sometimes it's one dash version, sometimes it's dash dash version. And as we have seen in Python, sometimes it doesn't work. You have to use dash v. It's a practical fuck up. So stop chanting about the Unix philosophy or how great it is. It is actually not that great. Okay, it's when you are chanting it, you are spreading propaganda. You are spreading fake news. And in turn, it doesn't benefit you. Okay, it creates problem. It creates like today's problem where Google, Microsoft, they are the greatest power in promoting open source, but meanwhile they are actually the most evil. They rob you. You have no power. If you don't work for them, you cannot make a living. You have nothing. That's what happens when you chant propaganda, code that you think it's good, but actually it's not when it's false. So anyway, so what we want to show, okay, so anyway, so trim string doesn't work. I don't have it. So let's try something else. Slice, okay, JavaScript is fairly bad. So okay, so we cannot use trim slice. Okay, slice 3. Okay, let's say run it. Start end. Okay, so I don't know what's going on. Oh, okay. So split string returns an array, so you cannot, it returns an array of 2 elements. Then if you want to take a substring, you have to map it to, okay. So there it is. We are doing multiple dots now. So map string prototype slice, okay, string prototype. Okay, so it's becoming complex here. This is one reason some people object the dot notation, because then you have one long line. So and by the way, if you don't know what this is, it's a bit complex. Okay, that's the way JavaScript is. So split returns a array. Now, so you want to take a substring of each element. So now you have to call map. Okay, map is a method of array. And when you map, you want to call the function slice, and you have to say string prototype slice. Okay, start at let's say start at 1. Okay, so we are taking a substring by dropping the first character. Okay, let's run it. Why is map not run it? Map array map. Error. Something is not a function. God, this is getting more complex, but let's show you. Okay, so the error is that it's complaining. So you see, map takes one argument, one or more, that needs to be a function, and here that is not a function, because that what we have there is an expression. We are doing a function call, string.prototype.slice 1. So we need that to be a function. So in order to do that, you need an arrow function. So this is how you do it. Okay, so let me show you. Okay, so this is actually the proper way. Okay, so I'm now going to explain. So anyway, so here is the arrow function. It's a lambda. It's a function. It takes one argument. Then the x is a string. You slice it by dropping the first character. Okay, run it. There we have it. So let's change the example here. Okay, let's run it. Okay, so x sum x thing, we drop in the x, so that's how it works. So here's an example of, this is actually a real world example of dot notation in practice. You see, so you see a dot, then dot something, map, then actually we can dot again. So we can dot again, anyway, we are getting more complex. Okay, so copy that to here and color it, show in browser. There it is. Okay, that's an example of dot notation. So what is my point? My point I want to mention is that dot notation is convenient because it's like a sequence of things, a chain, function chain, or it's a function chain or UNIX pipe or postfix notation, because you think of the dot as a postfix notation. Argument comes before the function, so it's convenient. But however, in the OOP dot notation, there is one requirement. It does not always work. In order for dot notation to work, the whatever before the dot must be an object, and whatever the method you call must be a method of that object. So when you have a.b.c, a must have the method b, and whatever that returns must have the method c. You see, every time you dot something, it returns something, and that something must be an object. Then the next method must be a method of that object. You see, it needs to have this object method relation for each of your dot 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 something. If there's no such relation, your dot doesn't work. So what I'm saying is that it's not a general way, it's not an actual postfix notation, it's tied to a semantic. You see, so here's the thing. You see, we are talking about the connection between programming language semantics and its syntax. You see, when we look at dot notation, we think, oh, this is great syntax. You know, this is just a syntax, very convenient syntax. But no, that's not totally it. You know, this syntax works if and only if, you know, whatever your dot, that thing must be an object, and it must have a relation with the method. Otherwise, it doesn't work. That is my point. Okay, that is my point. That is the point of this article. Method chaining, postfix operator, and OOP. So what's the big deal? What's the big deal? The big deal is that you cannot, if you have two arbitrary functions, you cannot simply chain them. They must have a relation. They must have a object method, you know, relation. Then you can chain them. So this is kind of a limitation in OOP. Now you might say, oh yeah, but why do you need to chain some, you know, some method that's unrelated to the object, right? Because OOP is designed, you know, whatever data the object always have its method you want to call. You don't need a method outside of that object. That's not true. That's not totally true. Because in many situations in OOP programming, you do want, sometimes you want a method that's not in this object, but you do want to call it. For example, we almost showed the example that string.prototype. But anyway, so even in well-designed OOP languages, it does occur, and actually often, okay, where you have a situation you want to call a method on a data, but however that method is not a method of the data. That method, it belongs to some other object. So you got a problem. When that happens, you cannot simply dot something. You can, you know, this chain notation, this dot notation breaks. You cannot use it anymore. But if you are in a functional programming language or in UNIX pipe, for example, it always works. You see, when you pipe, you know, when you pipe ls.-al to grab to something to word count, it does not require a object method relation between the things. It just data, you know, it just pass through. But in the dot notation, it actually, it's different. It requires this relation to work. Okay, I think maybe am I like babbling too much? I think I'm getting tired, and I should stop. And so we talked about that. I hope I conveyed this thing, even though it's pretty verbose, verbosity. But verbosity is good for you know, driving in the point. So Justin Scarfi, so let me see. Justin Scarfi says, now xah is using a virtual editor, Emacs Live in Windows. No, I'm in Emacs. This is not virtual editor. This is Emacs. So let me see, what are you guys saying? Okay, so So Crash Hacker says, good morning. For convenience underscore, but I'm using spaces for privacy related stuff. Okay. You are not using trim on string here. That's right. Yeah. So I corrected that. Trim it first. Right. Trim. Okay. So Crash Hacker says, I still don't see the advantage over pipes. Right. So dot notation. Justin says, what was window written in Emacs by Bill Gates? was Windows written in Emacs by Bill Gates? I don't think Bill Gates uses Emacs. Okay, Pablo. Okay, so what editor did Bill Gates write Windows in? I don't think it's Emacs because if it is, I must have heard over the past 30 years. Yeah, I don't think he used Emacs. And when at the time when he began Windows, I don't think there is a Emacs editor. I mean, there's no Emacs in in whatever operating system he's using. That's the beginning of personal computers. He essentially created it. Okay, I think maybe that's it. Okay, so actually I have some more things about pipes. So actually I explained most of it, what I want to talk about pipes. So we explained this. Wait, we didn't explain that yet. So we explained method chaining, postfix operator, and OOP. Okay. In summary, the OOP dot notation, syntactically, it is a form of chaining functions or postfix operator, but but actually it depends on the function. It depends on the object method relation for this syntax to work. Okay. Then then uh, then then my roommates. Hold on a second. Let me close the door. Then okay, my roommates, I gotta go. I think I gotta go. We're gonna um there's another big topic I want to talk about. That is the relation of function composition versus postfix notation. Another day, I guess. So thank you guys for watching. Bye guys. And and actually there are quite a few things I want to talk about. Maybe next time. So there's also Clojure. Clojure, a dialect of Lisp. It has function chaining syntax like that. And also I want to show you this JavaScript code I wrote, which allows you to have the function chaining pipe, the UNIX pipe, without requiring the object method relation between the things. So this is, I'm pretty proud of this. Even like one day I realized I can write this. It's pretty easy, JavaScript. So this is a function that allows you, that creates a pipe, creates a function chaining notation, basically a function pipe, without requiring the object method relation. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Kathy, and thank you all. Bye, guys. long video we did today. Long video, 90 minutes. Bye.